Hey, but let's go back just a little bit. I do want to recap the whole weekend and all that kind of stuff. It was a long weekend, especially if you started on Friday with DJ Daniel Jacobs and Rosado, Gabriel Rosado. What a night that was not.
typically you say, well, it's gonna be like, oh man, that was crazy.
Yeah,
that one. Not at all.
That one, I was so salty from basically from beginning to end. So salty.
That was a snooze fest, man. I thought somebody was. I'm like, somebody turn it up, turn it up. It's like everybody was trying to counter each other. Like, do something, man. Yeah. Turn up the heat.
I had blessed enough to have Tommy Hearns, the legend Thomas Hearns, right here in the podcast, and we shot a little bit. But prior to that, he wanted to come over and watch the fights, and I said, well, why don't you come a little later after the fights, because everything that's going on, and I just want wifey to be comfortable, everything like that. By like maybe the 5th round, I text him. I said, hey, you guys can come on over. He comes in the door, and I was like kind of heated and mad. He not that far away, which was cool. Come in the door, and he smiled at me. I said, hey man, was you watching the fight? And he went. I said, I take it you were watching the fight. He said, that was not a fight, gentlemen, sir. That was not a fight. So he come in the room, and we're waiting on the announcement of the fight. And damn, if they didn't say, damn, the worst thing that could have happened that made the night even worse was from Philadelphia, Brooklyn.
Man, that
Daniel
was
Jacobs. I was like, wow, because prior to the announcement, we really didn't know who won the fight. I mean, I told my dad, he looked at me and says, do you think Danny is winning this fight? I said, I don't know. I said, here's the thing. We as judges, and even us being here, we had in our minds that Daniel Jacobs was going to control the fight and win the fight. So probably even the first 2 or 3 rounds, you're giving to Daniel just because of your expectation of what was going to happen that night. So the worst thing that could have happened to Gabe is you don't win a lot of fights. And so nobody's expecting you to win. And then what worked to Danny's advantage, at least in my mind, is you come to the ring as the winner. So the judges were expecting you to win the fight, but very little activity from both fighters, but especially from the fighter we expected to win. But I think because of that expectation, it was like he started the fight with a head start. Yeah, with the head start. And then
you said very little activity was a very kind way of putting that.
Yeah, I mean,
no activity.
No activity.
I didn't even know how to judge that.
Yeah.
What did Common say? No motion, slow motion is better than no motion.
Yeah.
Barely though.
Yeah, barely any motion.
Hey, Carson, I tried to think it to the eye of Shawn with the judges' mindset. I ain't have nothing. I'm like, I don't know who wins this.
He said, I can't see this like me or Shawn or any of the judges. I couldn't either.
At the end of that, I could have seen DJ winning. I could have seen Rosado winning, and I could have seen a draw.
And I could have saw a draw. Yeah. The one thing I'm going to do from now on, though, when I watch the big fights, is I'm going to have some paper right there, and I'm going to write down who I think is winning the fight.
Yeah.
Because when you get to the end, it's like it was so dry and it was so uneventful that once you got to the end, it was almost like, I don't care who wins.
Yeah, just let it end.
But then when you get to decisions, like you try to justify the decision. But that one, man, I can't justify Daniel Jacobs. I can't justify the way he fought. I don't consider COVID and this quarantine an excuse. At this point, it can't be an excuse. All of us, especially a guy like him who's got more than enough at his disposal, you're supposed to be ready for a fight at any point in time. And the COVID and the quarantine is not supposed to affect you the way that, I guess, if anything, you would say it had an effect on DJ. And
Yeah,
I even at this point, man, I feel like 5 minutes is enough.
I would agree. Yeah, it was bad. I even want to give a shout out to Rosado. I thought DJ would get him out of there.
Yeah,
but I thought Rosado fought a very good fight for him. Yeah. Being the underdog.
He fought a very good fight. I think So Tommy came over with his nephew. His nephew's the one who drove him over here, and the three of us were talking. And what Tommy says is, when you're a warrior, you're supposed to always be a warrior, and he did not show that warrior spirit that we're used to seeing from him. And I agree with that. And then so his nephew says, well, he got with Freddie Roach, and Freddie was supposed to show him, a better way of give him more control and show him how to be a better technician in the ring. And I think that even though he was under control, he didn't get wild, he didn't get crazy or anything like that. It's like you lost your warrior, you lost your dog in trying to be a better boxer, especially at the end, where in a lot of ways it doesn't matter. At the end, you're supposed to just entertain people and get paid. And it's
give us what we want.
Yeah. And it's like, you didn't give us what we wanted at all.
Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.